We have an issue with people hating the Republican White House right now. Anybody who President Trump is aligned with, most of all his senior advisor, Elon Musk. Shocking new video from New York City. This is in the lower Manhattan area. And this is the meatpacking district, as they iconically call it. This is a Tesla dealership just coming into us. And you can see two people defacing a Tesla showroom with spray paint in downtown Manhattan, a bright red paint. They tag the windows with DOGE crossed out. We do not consent. And F DOGE. They actually had the word. In fact, we can't even show you the entire video because so much of it is profane. We'd have to keep blurring it out, and we haven't quite been through this whole thing yet to effectively do that. We want to make sure that we do. You can see the two people are not wearing masks, so we can see their faces clearly. I don't know if they have a job, but we know who they are. One is wearing a pink shirt that reads "Climate change equals mass murder." Molly, what?
Well, if someone really cares about climate change, as this person is purporting to, then he would support Tesla, which is an electronic vehicle company that does more to help his purported cause than anything else. But more than that, it is this very serious problem. We have hatred causing violence, whether it's assassination attempts, attacks on parents at school board meetings, attacks on a dealership because the head of the company is actually trying to bring back accountability to the government. I saw something about no unelected. Well, what is DOGE other than saying an unelected permanent bureaucracy does not get to control the country? The people get a say. So there's not even a coherence there. But there really need to be many more people, and particularly Democrats, since this is coming from the Democrat side of things, speaking out against this violence and hatred.
Why do you think they're not?
Because I think they clearly support it, and they have decided to personalize their hatred. The hatred of Trump isn't working, and also it reminds people of how their hatred led to assassination attempts. So they're trying to now target a different person, Elon Musk.
Wow. I was just going to say, I'm for free speech. We're all for free speech. But when it infringes on somebody's property, when it destroys something, when you're attacking somebody, I mean, where's the line? Where is the line in all of that? And, we see these attacks more and more. What are they, 50, 80 attacks so far this year on Teslas? And by the way, some of the people, these guys, they don't care. They have no masks on. They don't care if you know who they are or not.
Apparently.
Because they know that they're going to be okay. But in some of the other attacks on these cars where they key them or they try to firebomb them, they have masks on, and they're not the brightest bulbs in the socket because most Teslas have some kind of video mechanism going on. So we're going to find out who they are anyway.
Well, they're not hiding it. But the irony of this picture right now is actually, it's too much. You have the activist in his bright pink climate change shirt defacing a Tesla dealership, like one of the best EV vehicles around, with aerosols. And climate people don't like aerosols. So this is not about anything. This is just about making the news. And, this is completely defacing private property. And what should be happening right now is the police should be coming up and making them stop and giving them a toothbrush with water and soap and make them clean this off. Like, they're not afraid of law enforcement. We're allowing this to happen.
Well, why would they be in this city? I mean, this city doesn't go after criminals. It goes after Donald Trump.
Well, that's why they don't have anything on. They really feel like they're going to be heroes in all of this. But this is an intimidation factor. This is part and parcel of a campaign, not just to harm this, but to make sure that anyone who's thinking about buying a Tesla is afraid.
That's right.
If you buy this car, we may come after you. If you buy this car, we may key it and then take it a step further. This is serious intimidation. Ironically, Tesla will report their earnings after the close today. The stock's down 37% this year. And, Elon Musk...
Just since January?
Yeah. Elon Musk is under tremendous pressure to leave from the Wall Street community. He's got to leave those soon anyway because of, legal reasons. But it really is ironic that the man who helped usher in this movement, who made it possible, is now villainized because he wants smaller government where the people have a greater say. So it is interesting that the Democrats are de facto saying, hey, we like big government. We want larger government that sucks up taxes, that creates a lot of debt because it gives us one thing we want more than anything else: control, power. We want power, we want control, and we want to give you the answers and dictate what you do in your life, not you.
They want to control other people's money. I do want to say this.
Every aspect of our lives they want to control.
As we kind of turn the corner here, we have blurred more of the profanity, so you can see how large this dealership is as it sits in the middle of the meatpacking district. It's beautiful. I've not been in it. I've only seen now pictures from the outside. But Molly, I want to go back to this idea of politics involved in this. There have been a couple, not even a handful, maybe, of Democrats who have lightly spoken out about this. Where is the bullhorn on Capitol Hill with people saying, look, people are being hurt in some of these attacks, not spray painting necessarily, although what happens if these dealerships are financially affected the way Charles just said? You're affecting people's jobs at this point.
I haven't even heard anybody speak out on the left, speak out against the attacks on Elon Musk. Plus, you have a coordinated campaign with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Bernie Sanders making Elon Musk the picture of their opponents and claiming that, again, he's a threat. The reason why they're focused on him is that Democrat power is enabled through government employees. It's a massive constituency, millions at the federal level, but also at the state and local government. If DOGE catches on, if this accountability for the bureaucracy catches on, it is a major threat to Democrat power along with the NGOs. And so that's why they're focused here. But people should have some decency and speak out against it.
They need to up the consequences.
Yes.
This behavior, as Charles said, is intimidation.
100%. You're right. You're right, Dr. Sapphire, but we've yet to see them do that anywhere in the country, really. It is all coming from Pam Bondi, our United States AG. It's not coming at local levels.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.